Good morning, my little dumpster fire babies. How is everyone doing this morning? I hope that your day is off to a wonderful, fantastic start. If it's your first time here, hi, my name is Carrington. Not your first time here, hi, welcome back. If you enjoy any and all things makeup related, definitely go ahead, hit that subscribe button, click the little bell so you're notified of all my future uploads. As well as if you enjoyed this video, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to go follow me over on Instagram so you can see all of the content that I post over there, which isn't a lot, but you know, eventually we'll get there. So let's go ahead, let's dive on into today's video, which is testing out some more new makeup. I don't have like a ton of like random products. Like I have like the Barbie collection, the One Size Disney collection. Like I've got stuff like that, but I do have some stuff that like isn't really necessarily in a collection, but that we should try out anyways. So first things first is I did get this from RMS Beauty. I have been trying to use this for like a long time. This French Rosé blush. Let me open it if I can. Which is just like this really cute like light pink. Then we have this from Essence. It's called the highlighter. Wealthy. And then I placed an order and I got a couple of things from Vieve. So first up is I have a sample. This is their Skin Nova Instant Radiant Primer. Then we have this from, oh, I guess they're all from Vieve, so obviously I just said that. The Modern Radiance Concealer. Mine is in shade Light 1. And then we have the Ninetease palette. So if you guys are excited to see what I think of these products, or what look we create, then definitely keep on watching. So I like to start off with my eyes, and so I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Ninetease palette, but first we're going to do some swatches. So the swatches, they look up here very light. Some of them don't swatch the best. So you have this shade right here. This is called Skimp. It is definitely like a skin tone type color. In the pan it looks a little bit more gray, but once you put it on, you can kind of see where it's just more like a skin tone color. Then you have Acid Wash. This is a really pretty silver with some like gold sparkles in it. Next up is Supermodel. This is like a very just like light gray. Then we have VHS. This is like almost like a gunmetal type of gray. Then we have WHTVR. Moving on to the next row is Dial Up. This is just like a very light like champagne type color. Next up we have Phase. This is like a very like neutral type brown. Then we have Low Rise. This is, in the pan it looks a little bit more gray, or on here it looks definitely just like a solid brown. So the swatch looks a solid brown, whereas in the pan it's a brown gray shift. Next up is 93. So in the pan this looks like a deep burgundy, and I will say on the arm it also kind of matches what it looks like in the pan, which is kind of like a brownish burgundy, but I feel like on camera it looks lighter and a little bit warmer than what it actually is. And then we have Soot, which is just like a very dark brown type shade. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start off with this shade right here, Supermodel. I kind of want to do something a little bit more gray. So it only has like a very like slight amount of pickup in the pan. I wouldn't say it's like atrocious or anything like that. Okay. So in the pan, it looks pretty light, like it's going to be pretty light. And in the swatch, it looked light as well. On the eyes, I will say I think it has a little bit more pigmentation than what it looks like in the pan and on the swatch. But I will say if you have really deep skin tone, I really don't know if this is going to show up. Okay, if we're going to be honest, this palette really only seemed to have 3 really good deep pigmented shades. And those were like the last 3 that we did. The rest of them all swatched very light. And, you know, this palette isn't like the cheapest palette in all the land. So if you have a deeper skin tone, I don't know how well this is going to look. So I just want to point out, like on my eyes, it's definitely looking pretty dark. Like this is what the original looks like, and this is what it transpired after building it up. So these are buildable. Just be mindful if you have a darker skin tone. I'm not sure how else is going to work for you. So next up, I'm going to go into the shade right here called WHTVR. And take some on the brush. I really experienced almost like no kick up at all whatsoever with that shade. I'm just going to focus that in the crease and just like a little bit above. Okay, so then the next shade for the outer corner is going to be Soot. I already grabbed a little bit of it and started putting it on just because I started getting in my own zone, my own Spotify zone. I was performing at a concert, so I got a little distracted. I will say all of these, like the mattes, all really blend well together. I'm not really experiencing any fallout on the face. Okay, so I glitter prime my eyelids so we can start going into some of these really pretty shimmers. So the first one I want to go into with is going to be VHS. So this is the darkest shade, the darkest shimmer, I should say. And I'm going to focus that on like the center to outer portion of my eye. Just like so. Alright, so then I'm going to move on into the shade Acid Wash. So this is the second to lightest or second to darkest shade shimmer. And we're just going to go and like marry it in the middle and focus the rest on like this inner corner. We're now going to move on into the priming of the face. So I have this from Vieve. It's the Skin Nova Instant Radiance Primer. So this hydrates and provides radiance. For use, apply to bare skin for an instant effortless glow. Use as a primer under makeup for a hydrating, long-lasting complexion. It has skin-loving ingredients with ultra-fine pigments to give a golden hour glow to the skin. Alright, that's all it says. Again, this is just like a little sample that I got with like the purchase of the products that I bought, the palette and the concealer. So, oh, okay. It's got a little doohickey on it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead. Ooh, okay. Alright. That's gold. That's golden. I'm worried it might be like too golden. I hope that it really like settles into the skin. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. Okay. It has a scent to it. It's not my favorite. It's almost florally. And again, I'm just not into florals. But that did provide some good hydration, some glow. I will say, even though it looked really golden, I find that it kind of sank in nicely, and I think just like a foundation will easily go over it with no problems or issues. For foundation, I went in with my Revlon Candid Glow. This is probably one of my all-time favorite drugstore foundations, even though I did hear that they're discontinuing it, so I may have to buy backups. I don't know. I just love it. So now we have from Vieve, we have that Radiance Concealer. This is infused with hyaluronic acid. The hydrating concealer brightens and color corrects for a naturally perfected radiant finish. Apply using the doe foot where needed and blend out with a brush or fingers for a flawless finish. Customize your coverage by building as desired. So let's see here. I got mine in shade Light 1. Okay, so here's the doe foot, but it looks like the cream is kind of, oh, it feels thick. Okay, let's just put like a little bit, like a really minimal amount for me anyways. And see what happens. It says to use a brush. I don't know if I want to use a brush. See what happens. I'm going to take this little brush. Okay, so I will say this is a tad bit yellow, first and foremost. So I went in with the brush first, but I think I'm just going to go over everything with a sponge. I really just like a sponge. It's the best. I feel like it makes a difference. But this concealer is very, very, very thick. Like, this is a very thick concealer. You will not need a lot. I have a feeling you can easily go overboard with this concealer, and I almost feel like maybe I did. Alright, so let's go ahead, let's move on into the lower lash line. So I'm just gonna do almost the exact same thing that I did on my upper lash line. Is I'm just gonna start taking First Shade Supermodel and just smoking that out. May take a little bit of time to blend this or build this. Not blend, because these blend out really well. Not gonna lie, they blend out great. So then we'll move on to the WHTVR. That's supposed to be whatever. I think that's what it's supposed to mean, is like whatever. Just focus that a little bit closer. And then we'll take Soot. Focus that right on the outer portion. So then for the inner corner, I want to go into the lightest shimmer that we have. This is called Dial Up. I was going to start with a little bit of a swoopity. And we'll take here. So now we're going to move on into this RMS Beauty blush. I have used some of their other blushes before. This is in the shade French Rosé, and it kind of looks like just like a really nice kind of like a cooler toned bright pink, like a bright bubblegum pink. But I love, as you're gonna be able to see, like it kind of gives like a really soft like radiance to your skin as well. It's so pretty. These blushes are really good. I really like these blushes. We now have this highlighter from Essence. This is the Highlighter Luminous Glow. Mine is in the shade 01 Mesmerizing. So I'm just going to take my little highlighting brush and ooh, wow, that is like beautiful. Wow. Okay. Okay, so I think that's all of like the new makeup we have to try. So I'm going to go finish the rest of my face off of camera, and I will come back to give us some final thoughts. Alright, so here is the completed and final look. What does everybody think of it? I am obsessed. I think everything looks so good. Like I'm looking at it in the mirror and like my skin looks good. I think the only thing that I don't like the most is my brows. I tried using that Lawless pencil again, and I just think it's just too big for me. I think it's just like too big. I need something a little bit more fine and precise than that. So, okay, so let's go ahead. Let's dive on into my final thoughts of the products from my least favorite to my most favorite. There's not a lot to rank, but my least favorite is probably going to be this concealer. I think it's a good concealer. It's a decent concealer. What I will say though is this is a very thick, heavy concealer. I personally am liking something a little bit more lightweight, a little bit more fresh, a little bit where if I go a little bit overboard, it's not going to be the end of the world. And with that, I can't get this. It does provide some slight radiance to it, as it says it does. So if you are wanting something with a little bit more coverage that is nice and thick, it's going to cover whatever you need. I think, but you still want that radiance. You don't want like a really matte one. I think this will be a good option for you. But for me personally, like I really like my Kosas. I really like my ColourPop Pretty Fresh. Like there's so many others that I just like really like more than that. So I don't think any of these products are bad products, by the way. Just wanted to like disclaimer. Next up is going to be the Skin Nova. Again, I really liked that it did give a glow, so it had like those microfine particles to give the glow. And then I also liked how it was also hydrating. But again, I don't know if I would pay full price for this. Some of her stuff is like really expensive. But there's like drugstore ones that I like more, or there's like the Natasha Denona one, I like that. But there's just other primers that I just like more. Like I'm really into like the, it's right here. What is this called? The Ritual to Feel Thorn Oil. Loving this right now. Like it's probably one of like my top notch primers that like I'm using right now. But I just like others more. Next up is this RMS blush. I think this blush is absolutely beautiful. I love how like it's like a really nice light pink. And then they always have like a little, as you can tell, like a little like champagne-y. No. Can't understand what you're trying to say. It has a sheen to it. Wow. I don't know how we got champagne and everything else out of sheeny, but we did. And we're back. So I really like how it just like gives a really nice sheen. So if you want like a really lit from within type of glow, you don't want to go with a highlighter, this is a good option to still give you that glow, but it be just like a blush and not adding extra highlight on top of it. So I think these are really, really pretty. I'm just excited about the other products a little bit more. So the next up is going to be this Essence highlighter. I mean, look at that. Look at that glow. I'm here for it. And the thing that's so wild to me about this is you have this and it's literally like $3 or $4 on Ulta's website or their website. It's like $3 to $4. $3 to $4. So that makes my number one product this palette. I am obsessed. This is the Grunge Girl palette that like I need, that I did not know I needed, but I needed. This is definitely like very much like a very cool toned palette. There's so many different looks that you can create with this. I kind of focused more on like a little bit more of like a grayish type look. I'm obsessed. I used all of the shimmers. I think the shimmers are pretty as well. And I just think that the mattes are pigmented. They blend well together. Again, I think the one qualm with this is that I don't know how well this is going to be for deeper skin tones. So anywhere from like tan and above, I don't know how well it's going to go for you. I don't know if you're only going to be able to use a very select, you know, maybe these shades, and then you have all of these over here that you can't use. Like, would that be worth the price point to you? I don't know. I would definitely see if there's any reviews for like deeper skin tones in case you do have a deeper skin tone, just to see how well this goes. But if it does work, I love this palette. I have her Essentials palette. I don't love that anywhere near as much as I love this. This is such a good, it's such a pretty palette, and I'm obsessed with the look that I came up with, and I will definitely keep reaching on into this. This is such a good palette. All right, and that is it for today's video. I hope that you all enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, click the little bell, go follow me over on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!